I have to apologize. I'm feeling a little bit of a cold right now, but I'm going to power through it to give you this review of Velocity 2X. So Velocity 2X is a 2D action shoot-'em-up game and a 2D action platformer all in one. Two of my favorite video game genres all seamlessly rolled into one game. Sweet! The game was developed by Futurlab Studios. Futurlab Studios. Futurlab Studios. It's the sequel to a game called Velocity that came out in 2012 on the PSP, and then they re-released Velocity on the PS Vita in 2013 in HD. Now, I haven't played either of those games, so playing Velocity 2X was a completely new experience for me. This game looks amazing. It looks clean, it looks smooth, it looks sharp. It's one of the best looking downloadable games I've played in a while. Smooth, 60 frames a second, and it plays perfectly too. The controls are nice and spot on, they're super responsive, and this is definitely a game where you will need super responsive controls. So this game takes place in outer space, and you play as a pilot named Kaitana, and at the beginning of the game, she wakes up to find that the left side of her face and her left arm have been like infused with robotics, which give her the powers and abilities that you'll be able to use throughout the game. This is one of those games where, like Super Meat Boy, it's basically composed of a bunch of really small levels, 50 in total, and before each level there will be like 10 to 15 seconds of storyline, and the story is basically told through text boxes and like still images, so it's really simple and it's just there to get the point across. Now when you first play this game, the tone of the story is kind of mysterious because you don't really know what's going on, but then you realize that Kaitana is basically a smartass. That is my kind of protagonist right there. Smartasses in video games, I will always welcome more of them. The evil alien race in this game is called the Voke, and the main bad guy's name is General Glaive. If you go to the options menu and look under information for the Voke, it'll say, hold on, I have to read my notes. The Voke are quite simply the most perfect, most refined, and most deserving of all evolved species. Tremble in awe before our majesty. Note, the above statement is typical of how the Voke view themselves and may not prove entirely objective. So the way that the level progression works in this game is that each level has requirements in the level that you have to earn in order to get the XP in that level. And the later levels have XP requirements, so you need to do at least a minimal amount of activities in the early levels in order to unlock the later ones. And these activities can be boiled down into four main categories: beating a level in a certain time, collecting enough rescue pods when you're in your ship, collecting enough purple crystals when you're on foot, and in some cases, getting a point total, which basically consists of collecting enough rescue pods, enough crystals, and destroying enemies. Now, the first time I went through most of these levels, I went through slowly and methodically so that I can basically get every crystal and every rescue pod. And then after that, I went through the level again as fast as possible in order to get the gold medal in the time department. You can actually get a perfect rating if you're able to get through a level and get a gold medal in all categories all in one run. In the first few levels, that's not hard at all, but in the later levels, holy crap, that's hard. Now, getting a perfect isn't really required, but it's just there like if you're obsessed with collecting trophies or something like that. Now, there are 50 levels in this game, but the first 10 or so levels are basically like a tutorial. And that's really cool because this game, especially in the later levels, will have a lot of different mechanics that you'll have to use in order to beat a level. For example, in the first few levels in your ship, you just have a laser. And then after the first 10 or 12 levels, you unlock bombs, which you can shoot up, down, left, or right. And there's other mechanics as well that are layered on top of this. Like there's lots of different locks that you have to destroy in a certain order. At first, it's like, destroy lock 1, move on. Destroy lock 2, move on. And then you'll get to lock 4, and you'll say, where's 3? And then you'll see a docking station right next to lock 4, and you'll go on foot, and you'll go through this platforming segment, and then you'll end it by destroying lock 3. Most of the levels use this mechanic in some way. Some of the later levels are just like labyrinths. Like there's so many different gates and colors, and you'll basically need to use the map and like teleport around, and yeah, these levels are long. Thankfully, there's only a few of them though. So one of the other key mechanics of this game that you unlock maybe like halfway through the game is this ability to drop an orb and then later teleport back to the orb. Now in the 2D shoot 'em up segments when you're in your spaceship, this will usually happen when like the path forks into left and right. So you'll go down the left route and then teleport back and then go down the right route. Pretty simple stuff. But in the 2D platforming segments, there's all these really cool areas where like you have to drop an orb and then like jump to your doom, but like just before you die, you teleport back to the orb. And it's just simple. You just double tap the triangle button and there you go. What to talk about next? Okay, so this game's got a good presentation, it's got a good soundtrack as well, it's got good platforming, but what makes it really special? What makes it special is that the levels are designed so well so that they like flow very well. I mean, I know I said that it's a 2D shoot 'em up game and it's also a 2D platformer game, but if you think about it, it's also basically kind of like a racing game because you're always trying to get the gold medal in the time, and the level design is designed so that it'll flow so well between having to collect everything, having to kill all the enemies, and getting through a level as fast as possible. That's what makes this game so good. It has all three of those components, and you have to be good at balancing all three of those in order to get a perfect on a level. I mean, the faster you play this game, the more fun it is, hence the name, Velocity. And adding to how well the levels flow, the penalty for death is like really, really low, which is awesome. Like when you die, you basically just start like 2 seconds ago or 3 seconds ago. You might think, well, then where's the challenge? Well, the challenge is that like in order to get the gold medal in the time department, you basically have to go through the whole level without dying. Or if you die, it only has to be like 1 or 2 times, but you have to haul ass throughout the rest of the level. Now, during the 2D shoot 'em up segments, the screen will scroll automatically, but you can always hold down R1 to make it scroll faster. And then when you're on foot, you can do the same thing to run. So being able to switch between those two speeds will help you to balance the precision platforming, the precision shooting, as well as getting through an area as fast as you can. So one of the other things that I loved about the 2D shoot 'em up segments in this game is that unlike many old style games, you don't die in one hit from touching the wall. You don't die in one hit from getting shot from an enemy laser. I mean, you will die if you touch an enemy, but I'm fine with that. There are a couple really cool boss battles in this game. I mean, they're basically all the same guy that you're fighting, but the later ones are cool. Like, you have to disable his shields in a certain order and then, like, fly inside his ship and then do this platforming segment, and it's just really, really cool and inventive. The one mechanic that you're going to use in this game the most, whether you're in your ship or on foot, is a short-range teleport where you basically go from here to here instantly. And you'll be doing this to get through very thin walls most of the time, but you can also use it to dodge enemy projectiles. And during the platforming segments, this mechanic is combined with the precision jumping and the precision running and things like that to make it really, really fun. And then when you're in your ship, you can dodge lasers. And during some of the boss battles, there's like this bullet hell thing where basically the boss is like throwing a bunch of bullets at you all at once, but you can actually dodge those just by using the short-range teleport. And there's no cooldown on the teleport. You can use it as much as you want. It's basically just how good are you at it. And when you're on foot, you can use it to like boost really fast through areas in order to get through the level faster. This is definitely one of those games that is going to reward fast hand-eye coordination. If you like your games slow-paced, this game is not for you. But then again, why would you think it would be if it's called Velocity? It's not called Slowness 2x, Move Like a Snail 2x. Overall, I love Velocity 2x. It's just, it appeals to me as like an old school, like action 2D gamer. And unfortunately, it's like destined to become a sleeper hit because it's being released in the same time of the year as like Destiny and Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed and like Far Cry and all these like big budget games. But I'm always on the lookout for something really good, like really polished, very simple, very old school arcadey. Like that is my style of game. I mean, I like other styles of games as well, but this is at the top of the list, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up as one of like my top 5 games of the year. Still a couple more games I haven't played from 2014, but I'm getting there. But yeah, if you have a PS4, if you have a PS Vita, if you have a PS3, and you like those old school, like arcadey action style games, definitely pick this one up. It's really, really good. The presentation's clean. The presentation is smooth. It's funny. It's fast paced. And the challenge of the game simply isn't getting to the end. It's like getting a perfect medal in as many levels as you can. Basically, it's as hard as you want it to be. Alrighty, thank you all for watching, everyone. I will see you all next time, but until then, feel free to browse my channel and look at my other video reviews. Thanks a lot, everyone.